Welcome back to Origin Unexplained. This is going to be a different podcast today because I figured while it's that time of year when people are close and it's fun and everything's great, for some people it is the absolute loneliest. Why? The holidays. So without any further ado, let's get on. Loneliness is loud. It isn't always loud, but boy, can it scream. Sometimes it whispers behind your eyes in the middle of the night. Sometimes it echoes in the silence after a text goes unanswered. It can sneak in so quietly that you don't notice it until it's choking you. You wake up in the same place, live the same day, and go to bed wondering if you mattered at all to anyone. It's not just being alone. It's feeling like no one sees you, touches you, or even hears you breathe. It's physical, it's mental, and it's spreading. In this episode of Origin Unexplained, we're not just talking about what it feels like to be lonely. We're going deep into what it does to you. How does the body react when it goes too long without conversation? What happens to the mind when there's no touch, no eye contact, and no real connection? We'll look at the science, the medicine, and the modern world that helped create this epidemic of disconnection. Loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a biological signal hardwired into the brain designed to alert us that something's wrong. Just like hunger tells you to eat and thirst tells you to drink, loneliness tells you that you need connection. But unlike hunger or thirst, loneliness can go unmet for days, months, even years, and the body keeps the score. Research from institutions like UCLA and the NIH shows that chronic loneliness triggers a cascade of stress responses in the body. The brain actually perceives social isolation as a threat. Yes. And the amygdala, your fear, your survival center in the brain that lights up, doesn't do great for that either. Cortisol and stress hormone stays elevated. Your immune system shifts into a state of chronic inflammation, which has been linked to heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and even Alzheimer's. On the mental side, the effects are just as harsh. Lack of conversation and touch leads to cognitive decline, reduced memory function, and slower processing speed. The prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and emotional regulation, starts to lose strength. In people over 50, studies have shown that loneliness can increase the risk of dementia by up to 40%. And all of this can happen just because no one looked you in your eyes today. No one said your name. No one reached out at all. The absence of interaction doesn't just make you sad. It changes your brain. It reshapes your body chemistry, and it becomes a slow, invisible erosion. We live in the most connected time in human history, and yet people have never felt more alone. Technology promised us closeness. Social media told us we could have 1,000 friends with one tap. Messaging apps made it easy to speak to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But somewhere along the line, the quality of connection collapsed under the weight of convenience. Likes replaced voices, reactions replaced responses, and physical presence got traded for digital avatars and endless scrolling. We stopped calling, we stopped visiting, we started texting, "I'm here for you," instead of showing up at the door. And slowly, we began to lose the art of being with each other. The irony is brutal. The more platforms we built to connect, the more isolated we became. Truthfully, because what we really needed was eye contact. A hand on the shoulder, someone listening without checking their phone. And what we got instead was performance, presentation, filtered versions of ourselves, performing loneliness behind smiling selfies. Even worse, the pace of modern life doesn't allow for pause. Everyone's busy, burned out, chasing productivity. There's no time to sit with someone and talk about nothing. That's if they want to. There's no room to just exist with another person in silence. So the world, well, it keeps spinning, and the lonely people fall through the cracks, unseen, untouched, and unheard. In its most primal form, touch is survival. We come into this world hardwired for it. For infants, physical contact isn't just comforting, it's vital. In the mid-20th century, researchers observed a heartbreaking phenomenon in orphanages. Babies who were fed, clothed, and kept warm but rarely held or touched began to wither. Some stopped crying altogether. Others stopped moving. Many died. It wasn't illness. It was the absence of human touch. This condition became known as failure to thrive. The science showed that without physical affection and emotional engagement, an infant's nervous system doesn't develop properly. Stress hormones spike, heart rates become irregular, immune systems weaken, and in some cases, the neglect is so severe that the brain physically shrinks. This isn't just something that affects babies. Adults need touch too. Studies have shown that hugging, holding hands, or even gentle physical contact triggers the release of oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. It lowers blood pressure, reduces cortisol, and helps the nervous system regulate. When that touch is removed for too long, the body begins to ache in ways people can't always name. We're not machines. We're not built for isolation. And the proof starts from the very beginning of life. As adults, we don't outgrow the need for connection. We just learn how to suppress it. We find ways to numb it. We get used to the ache, but the body never really stops asking for it. People who go long periods without physical affection, whether they're single, widowed, isolated, or simply living in a touch-starved culture, report higher levels of depression, anxiety, and even physical pain. That's not in their heads. That's the nervous system malfunctioning from lack of sensory regulation. You see it in the way people get startled more easily, in how they flinch at sudden noises or feel chronically tired despite sleeping all night. The body starts to live in a state of hypervigilance when it's not grounded by touch. It's always bracing for impact, even when nothing is coming. Conversation is no different. When you go days or weeks without a meaningful exchange, without someone truly asking how you are and staying for the answer, it chips away at your sense of identity. You begin to feel unreal. Your thoughts spiral unchecked. You lose the mirrors that help you stay grounded in yourself even. When conversations become one-sided, when you're always the one reaching out, explaining, comforting, or just filling the silence, it creates a different kind of loneliness. It's the kind where your voice echoes but never lands. You start to feel like you're performing instead of connecting, like you're talking at people and not with them. And when this keeps happening, the brain takes note. Neuropsychological studies show that meaningful reciprocal dialogue activates regions of the brain tied to self-worth, empathy, and emotional regulation. But when those interactions are shallow or unreturned, the brain receives a different message, that you don't matter, that your input has no impact, that you're invisible. The result? A slow, grinding disconnection from the self. And then people begin to internalize the silence. They talk less, they share less, expect less, and they start to shrink emotionally. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they've learned no one will answer. They begin to seclude themselves. They disassociate from others. They stop going out. They stop reaching out because somewhere along the line they stop expecting to be heard at all. Loneliness at its core is a biological alarm, and science has finally started echoing what many people already feel in their bones. Studies in JAMA, that's JAMA psychiatry, Nature Neuroscience, and Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience all confirm the same thing. Prolonged loneliness isn't just uncomfortable, it's damaging. It weakens the immune system, rewires the brain, and increases the risk of early death just as much as smoking or obesity. If you want to explore more on this on your own, search pubmed.gov using phrases like loneliness and inflammation or lack of physical touch and brain function. You can also look into the work of Dr. Julian Holt-Lundstad or read The Loneliness Experiment by the BBC and Welcome Collection. And if this episode spoke to you, if you felt like you're disappearing into silence, know this. You're not alone. I'm working on a separate podcast at the moment and a YouTube channel. Yes, people who know what it means to feel isolated and to go days without a real voice in the room. It will be a private space, a real space as well. Not just another broadcast, but a place to reach out. That new channel is in the works right now, so hold on, because sometimes knowing someone out there is building a place just for you, that's enough to get through the night. This is Origin Unexplained, and thank you for listening. If you have a story that you would like told or you would like to be on a podcast, email us at originunexplained, and that's UNXPLAINED @gmail.com.